A family in mourning after their loved one was murdered on a trip to Michigan. Tonight, a homicide investigation is underway. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
I'm Simon Shayket. 29-year-old Tihiry Broom, a transgender woman from Ohio, was shot Sunday morning. On Wednesday, we shared with you how Southfield police say they arrested the suspect at a casino shortly after finding what they believe was a weapon in his apartment.
Well, today, 7 News Detroit reporter Christiana Ford learning more about the victim, talking to her family about the impact she made on their lives.
It's been 4 days since the family of Tihiry Broom, who also went by Tokyo, learned about her brutal murder while visiting Michigan.
It's really like it got my whole family in like a uproar. Like it's like one of those things. Like you don't know what to feel. Like you want to be angry, you want to be sad, you want to cry, you want to scream. Like you want to do. It's a big ball of emotion.
Even after the arrest of the person police believe is responsible, Robert Ridges III, there are still a lot of questions going through her aunt Patricia Bender's mind.
Like you just want to know why. Like why did you do that? Why do you feel like she deserved for that to happen? You know, and then that way and that magnitude. Being that they caught him, that brought some peace. But it's like it don't take away the pain.
Bender says her niece loved making people laugh, was full of energy, confidence, and loved Nicki Minaj.
Funny, smart, like one of those people that could walk into the darkest room and find some light in it.
She's hoping people see Broom in that bright light instead of focusing on what she did for work.
It doesn't mean that that person was a bad person. She was never a bad person.
Southfield police say they haven't ruled out the possibility that Broom was targeted. The suspect made 33 calls to sex workers, including black transgender women like Broom.
He knew. I believe it was possibly maybe even a motive of a robbery as well, because when he was interviewed, turned out he didn't have any money. So, you know, how was he going to pay for services, if you will? And so, but he's carrying a handgun.
But the evil that happened and investigation into it won't stop them from celebrating who she was.
She's shining a light that's going to shine forever and ever and ever and ever.
The family wants people to know they're grateful for the outpouring of love and support they have received here in Michigan. There will be a balloon release on Friday in Cleveland. In Southfield, Christiana Ford, 7 News Detroit.
All right. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. Welcome to another episode of Taylor House Publishing. And first of all, condolence to the family of Tihiry Broom, who you just heard lost their life on February the 25th of this year. Reportedly, the guy, Mr. Bridges, met her in this parking lot of some apartments, and a couple of articles said an argument ensued in which Tihiry Brown lost their life, and they later found the man at a casino in Detroit, and so they did get the individual. But this is a subject I've been thinking about talking about because I recently had a situation that I'm going to tell you about. But whatever happened that night, we don't know. They said that, you know, the guy was making phone calls to ex workers, and we all know what that means. He was possibly looking for, you know, a woman of the night, as they say. And when they got there, as the police said, it may have been robbery. It may have been, you know, that he mistakenly, you know, thought that Tihiry Broom was a natural born physiological woman, if I can say that. And when it turned out, he found out that Tihiry was a natural born physiological man, that may have been part of the argument. I don't know. But, you know, the article focuses on, you know, some people targeting, as the officer said, it may have been a targeting attack on the person just because of the lifestyle that that person lived. Now, while that may, once again, be true in a lot of instances, I do want people to realize that, you know, that is not always the case. People are, people sometimes, whether the lifestyle they live, it's not the basis of any indifference. Like I always mention, if there's a plumber, right, and they're not a good plumber, but they happen to live the alternative lifestyle, where they may engage in same-sex relationship, I'm not going to disqualify you from being my plumber just because of your lifestyle. I would disqualify you if I found out that you're not a good plumber and you can't do the job. But a lot of times what happens is people will use that sexuality angle as a cover, saying, no, you're discriminating me because I'm this way. No, I'm not hiring you or I'm dismissing you because I realize you can't do the job. And that goes in every sector of society. Like, if I don't like you, it's not because of your sexuality, it's because of your personality. It's because of, your attitude. It's because of, something you may have done. And so I think a lot of times when these situations happen, people don't understand that, it's not all about the person's sexuality. Now, it may be, like I said, if that man got there and that person didn't disclose that, they were in a transition, so to speak, and then that man got down there and started fondling and moving and grooving, and he felt something that he wasn't expecting to feel. And that may have set him off. Not saying that did happen, but those are things that would happen, and people will say, well, he did that because of their lifestyle. No, that person may have did that because they felt deceived and tricked, if I make sense. And that brings me to a situation I had personally a few weeks ago, and I'm going to read these messages because it kind of breaks down what I just said in real time. All right, so a lady reached out, and I'm just going to be honest, what I thought was a lady reached out to me via Instagram, and they was like, well, you look familiar, don't I know you from somewhere? And I started chatting. Well, I don't know, where are you from, this and that and the other. Well, I'm from Henderson. I said, well, you may have seen some of the videos on Javion McGee. Oh, yeah, that's right. This, that, and the other. And so the conversation continued on, for a few messages. And then, the conversation abruptly ended. And so the next day I'm going through my phone, responding to messages, whatever. And then I see this message. And I say, oh, okay, well, what happened? Yesterday we were having a good conversation. What happened? And this is what the individual said to me. They said, I honestly just thought I shouldn't reply because I know once I let you know something personal about me, your interest wouldn't be the same. Now, let's stop right there, because soon as they said that, I almost knew what was to come next. But that response lets me know that they know, everybody is not with that lifestyle, and almost, some insecurity about being forthright, right? And so I reply, what's that? And then the message says, I'm a trans woman. And yes, I don't usually share my business, but I do try to inform those I would be interested in getting to know more. But if this is where the conversation ends, it was definitely a pleasure chatting with you. Now, also, once again, this person says, I don't usually share my business, but as I would later say in the conversation, that is something that you should tell a man immediately. Like, that should be your leading, your introduction, and I responded to that message. I said, yeah, I figured that much when you said the last statement. I said, yeah, I'm not into that kind of thing. Peace and blessings to you, though, right? That's the end of the conversation, or so I thought, right? That's it, because I don't play those games. I'm very protective in this day and age about my sexual boundaries, right? And so this person says, same to you, right? And then that's it. Now, the next day, I think, I received a message from this person again and said, I probably should have started off with that, but I wasn't even thinking that you would even reply, to be honest, right? And so, okay. I said, well, maybe this is a teachable moment for the person. And I said, yeah, for future reference, make sure you do that, because men like me, myself, consider that as a form of disrespect, deceit, or even worse. So make sure you lead from that from now on out. And once again, that is true. Many men, many straight heterosexual men consider that, a form of disrespect. Don't come at me like that. If a gay guy or, a trans person comes and you be like, nah, I'm not with that. And if they continue on, that's considered a form of disrespect. Even, sometimes some men are very strict about their boundaries, and just the initial fact may set some men off. Now, this is where, people that does do this have to be careful, because they took my last statement as maybe some sort of joke, right? And they said, honestly, I didn't feel like I disrespected you at all. I left the conversation after you went into a different conversation other than health. I honestly don't feel like nothing I did was wrong. I get it though. LOL. Now, LOL, that means laugh out loud. Ha ha ha. I don't feel like I disrespected you, and this is the last message. And of course, it got no response. I said, once again, take my advice. It is considered disrespectful and dangerous whether you think it is or not. And that's what people have to understand. Whatever you want to play in your head, you want to be who you want to be. Everybody is not playing that same game, if that makes sense. And so I went on to say, some men are very protective of their sexual boundaries. And I just was straight up honest with this part. If I wanted to talk to a man who wants to be a woman, then that's what I would do. But I held a conversation with you thinking you were a woman, and you didn't disclose that in the beginning. You doing that is deceitful, wrong, and irritating, and probably a whole lot of other adjectives I can place there. And then I added, and you wonder why things happen to people like yourself. It's not about who you are. It's about the level of misleading individuals who don't play about their sexual preference. So again, peace and blessings. And I left her or him with, take it for what it's worth. And that was it. And so I hope that person takes that advice. And I hope anybody out there who is living that, as they call, alternative lifestyle or whatever it's called now, take that as, for what it's worth. Now, once again, I have no problem with anybody living the way they want to live. But when that person tries to engage or force that upon me, especially unknowingly, then that's where situations can turn sticky, may or may, like this situation with our dear, beloved person, Tihiry Broom. And so I thought this was a good time to mention that. I think that happened on February 25th. they did get the individuals. Maybe it will come out what really happened. Evidently, both were engaged in some unsavory, some people will call it, and even dangerous behavior. Because once again, when you're working like that, you do set yourself up to be robbed. You set yourself up to, have encounters where, people may, not know who you are and, become angry when they find out who you are or the like. So I don't know what site they were on. I don't use those sites, so I don't know if there's some kind of category that he was looking for. Maybe it was a straight up robbery attempt, or maybe it was like, we don't know. We only can know off of Mr. Bridges' testimony because Tihiry is not here to tell the story. But once again, my heart goes out to their family, to that person's family and their loved ones. Evidently, they were loved. You saw the interactions and the livelihood of the person, and so you definitely don't want to have anyone lose their life in that manner. Now, y'all tell me what y'all think about this in the comments. Once again, I have very I wouldn't say strong. Yeah, I say strong and very rigid and very unmovable views about this. Now, once again, my opinion is my opinion. My belief is my belief. Your belief can be your belief. But if y'all do want to have a conversation about it in the comments, please be respectful, because once again, we're all entitled to feel how we feel. But, nevertheless, 919-587-7782 for scriptural reference. You can reference Romans 1, chapter 1, verse 26 and 27 for part of my belief on the matter. Y'all have a blessed night. Peace and blessings.